wonderful people, how are you doing today? Welcome to my tutorial. I hope all is well with you. So today we are going to be, I don't know how I'm going to be dividing it. We're going to be making this very dress, okay, as requested by someone. Okay, that's Ankara, but I'll be using this lace fabric for it. I had 3 yards of it, okay, and the concentration is at the upper part. All right, so for the lower part I already cut them, okay, and these pieces are the upper part. I know I've done a lot of tutorials on princess bustier. That's why I didn't show this one. Maybe I'll just leave the link to one of the videos containing the princess bustier at the description box. I hope to remember to do that. Okay, so this is the back. You see from that picture it has yoke. Okay, so this is the back. I'm here to put the neckline, and this at the front. Okay, so these are the fronts. Okay, so like I said, for lace fabrics we use 2 linings for the upper part. If you like, you can still use 2 linings for the lower part. Okay, so for the upper part, these are the linings. This is going to sit at the back of the lace like this. Okay, so I'll first of all sew it round. The same thing goes for the sides. Okay, I'll sew them round before I begin the sewing proper. Okay, and these are the second lining as well. I already used my interlining on them. This is the second one. Okay, I'm taking my time to explain it because there is still another request that says I should show how to line a lace fabric. So I'll be doing both at the same time. I don't know, maybe I'll be splitting it into 2. I'll upload this first and then upload the second one. For the person who requested for how to line a lace fabric, she said how to line a dress, a lace dress or lace top. So I wouldn't know if it is a fitted dress or straight cut dress, but what I have here is a straight cut dress, and there's actually no mathematics in lining this. Okay, we'll get to that later. So this is the back, so I don't get us confused. Sorry, the front, and this here is the back as well. This is the lining. The lace will be placed over it like so. Okay, and then this is the lining proper for the lining. Okay, so here is what I'm going to do. I'm going to be calling this a separate tutorial, how to line a lace dress. Okay, and then this upper part a separate tutorial at the same time. Okay, so that the person that requested this can see it. Maybe I will upload the skirt part first of all and then upload the upper part later. Okay, now you have the lower part of your dress cut out. This is a straight cut. Okay, cut out. You see where the lining started, just from the waistline, and it depends on how you want it. Some people prefer a short lining, that is the one that ends maybe somewhere here, that this place will be like this. If you want that, that's fine, whereas some other people would want a full lining. But then of course you know that this lower part, which is the design, will have to show. Okay, so you are not turning it the way you turn your pencil skirt. I hope you understand that. So you see where my own lining ended. I hope you see. Let me turn the other side. You see it. Yours can even go lower than mine this way, but it doesn't have to get to this tip. Okay, now with that done, let me also add that sometimes, because this lace fabric is heavy, but if it were to be a lighter lace fabric, Sometimes I use double lining as well. You know, when you use double lining, this rough edge does not show again. But for this one, if I just sew these two sides and turn it in, you'll be seeing these rough edges from the right or wrong side, because it's a lace fabric. You understand? Because it is transparent. Okay. But for lighter lace fabrics like this, you know, this is way lighter than this. Okay, I normally use double lining, one to give it weight and then to conceal these rough edges. Okay, so I'm sure the person that requested it now saw the way I cut it. It's just like a pencil skirt. The only difference is you are not starting to sew from this lower part, because this is supposed to be a design. Okay, this mouth is supposed to be a design. All right. So now I'll go to the machine while I show how to do it. There's actually nothing there, but because it's a request, I have to oblige that. Okay. Then if it is a pieces skirt, okay, so this is for pieces skirt. I had to do both straight and pieces skirt because I wouldn't know the one the person who requested it wants, and I went the extra mile to go and buy lace. Okay, so this is the right side of the satin, and this also is the right side of the lace fabric. I hope you can see it. Okay, this is it also. Okay, so what you will do is you take this, place it like this, and sew. Okay, but then again, I'll quickly add, in lace, in sewing lace, sometimes like these very light ones, if you are sewing it, it tends to stretch longer than it is. I hope you understand. So if you are sewing it, you will gradually just be guiding it with your hand, as if you are pushing it, like you are sewing down like this. Then you will gradually be pushing it up, small small. You are not pleating, no, but you are guiding it so that it does not extend. If you are not careful, most times, let's assume that, I really hope you understand what I'm saying. Let's assume that this is the length of the lining. I hope you see it. This is the length of the lining. Okay, now if you are sewing this one, if you are the type that will have to sew the fabric to the satin first before you bring the two together, if it works for you, that's fine. But if you are doing it, there's every tendency, because this is a very light lace fabric, that when you are sewing, it keeps stretching. By the time you get to this tip, you find out that here becomes longer. I don't know if you understand. Let me turn it also to show you. Now this is the length of the satin, the lining. Okay, now when you are sewing, if you don't guide it with your hand carefully, you are not pleating, no, there won't be any pleats, but that thing you are doing will help you so that it does not stretch out of proportion. If not, by the time you get to this place, you discover that it has stretched this way. Okay, and that is why when you are joining the two, like when you are joining the two sides, you discover that one is longer than the other one because it's stretched out of proportion. I hope I'm not wasting your time, please. I really want the person who wants this to understand it very well. Okay, now if you are using lining aside this, like if we are to line our Ankara, you know this lace fabric is transparent. If it were to be Ankara, this is how I line my Ankara. You place your Ankara fabrics this way. You want to assume these are the two Ankara fabrics, and then these are the two linings. You place them together this way, and then you sew it. So that when you are done sewing, you open this one this way, open the lining this way. It's like this. When you turn it, you have a very neat work both at the back and at the front. And this rough edge is hidden very, very well inside. But because this is a lace fabric, if you do that, it's going to show. Except you have an extra lining, which is extra charge. I hope you know. So if you are not charging extra, you will just need to put your fabric this way, front against front, this one like this, and then sew. I hope you understand it. All right. So I'll go to the machine and do this green one first of all, and I will show you as I do it because it's a request and it's a tutorial on its own. Okay, and when I'm doing this as well, I will show you too. Okay, so for this you are placing this is the wrong side of the satin, okay, and this is the right side of my lace fabric. So the right side facing the wrong side of the satin. And then you sew. So as you sew, like I said, you guide it. If not, it will stretch out of proportion. As you sew, you guide it. I'm not saying you push it this way, but you just hold your lace fabric, you know, and be pushing it upwards gently. This way, it prevents it from stretching out of proportion, so that you don't end up, by the time you are done sewing, your fabric is longer than necessary. So you guys to continue this way. Now if you look closely, I wish you can see it. Okay, if you look closely, you will see that this place has become a little bit puffed up. Okay, it's because of that thing I was talking about. Now if you don't guide it, this is going to form an expansion so that this place begins to stretch. Okay, so once you discover it that it's like this, you use your thumb, you use your finger to still guide it, carefully pushing it as you sew, so that you eliminate all those swelling up. Once you don't have this swelling up, you are good to go. Then your fabric is steady. So for this other side, we are done with this side. We're done with this side. For this other side, I prefer working on the wrong side. Okay, instead of working at the right side through this place, I prefer to work from here. But as I sew, I'll just be taking a peek to make sure I'm sewing on top of the material. And of course, I will also guide. Okay, so now you see we have an even length of satin or lining. I don't know how to keep it so you will see it. I hope you see it. It's of the same length. So, but if you don't guide it, by the time you are done lining, you discover that either this side is longer, this side is shorter. Okay, and that's because of the stretchy nature of the lace fabric. Okay, so next will be to just turn and close the waistline. Put your dart and pipe the waistline. But this is a dress, so we're not going to be piping the waistline. I'll just sew the waistline. And then I'll put the dart, and that will be all for this stretch cut. Then we'll go over to pieces, because I wouldn't know, like I said, the person who requested for this desires whether it's straight cut or pieces. I don't know, that's why I brought the two of them. Okay, so here we are done with the lower part of this dress. Remember, this is a dress. Okay, so we're done with the lower part. We'll now go to the the pieces gown as well. All right. Okay, so this is it for the pieces. Now, like I said earlier, if you want to use my Ankara method of lining, that is placing fabric on top of fabric and then the two linings underneath, like this. I hope you see it. Fabric, two of them, and then the lining underneath. If you want to do, and then sewing, if you want to do it, it means you'll be needing extra lining, okay? Because if you do it this way, yes, it's true, it's going to give you a very neat finishing. I hope you see this is the wrong side. It's going to appear this way, but then again, at the right side you will be seeing the rough edges. I hope you see it. Okay, so in order to prevent this, you will need extra lining. So now if you are making a 6 pieces, what it means is that you will be needing extra, like these two now will have 3 linings. I hope you get it, so that you will still place one here. This is what I mean, the way it is now. As you have placed these two at the back, you will still place another one here, so that by the time you sew and push back, nothing is showing, it becomes neat. But then again, the only time I do this is when my client pays well. Okay, because of course, you know, if the client doesn't pay well, there's no point wasting extra lining more than what you are supposed to do. Okay, so having explained this, if you are using this, it means for each two like this, you will need another one. So for these 2 pieces, you need 3 linings. I hope you get it. Okay, so but if you are just to do the normal lining, it's just to bring the two together this way. Okay, this is the right side of the satin, this is the wrong side of the lace. So wrong side of the lace facing the right side of the satin, and then another lace on top, and then lining or satin. Okay, and then you sew down. Pay attention to when you sew, so that you don't stretch the material, like I said in the green one. So that same guide is applicable here. You will need to use your hand to gradually guide as you sew. Okay, so this is the front. You still place again the remaining one. Like I said, the 6 pieces, so 3 at the front and 4 at the back. Place like this. Place the satin as well. Remember, right side to wrong side. Right side satin, wrong side your lace fabric. And then you continue to sew. This way the rough edges are here. I hope you see it. But if you used that Ankara method and then added an extra lining, you will not be seeing this rough edges. Okay, please don't mind me, it's wet. So you continue to sew. And also this process applies to the back. What we did at the front, you do at the back. You know the back is 4 and the center back is smaller than the 2 back sides. Okay, so the way you do it, one center back will be at the upper part, then at the other side the center back will be at the back. Of course, you know how to do your 6 pieces, it's just the same thing. You see this side, the center back is by this side. At this one, the center back is up. I hope you see it. You see it is shorter. That's to show you is the center back. And then at this side is on the other side. Okay, so you just continue. Okay, so I think we are done with the lining process. This is the front. This is one side of the back, and then the second side of the back. Okay, and now since this is a dress, I leave it like this, and then when we get to the upper part, we continue. Okay, to the person who requested for this, I hope I did justice to that. Thank you very much. I will go back to the green one to continue. Like I said, I'm going to be splitting the video into two. This is going to be part 1, and then the upper part of this green one is going to be the part 2, and possibly the upper part of this is going to be the part 3. Okay, so see you guys in part 2. Bye.